Hello， 大家好，我是叶子。All my Singapore friends， 我的新加坡朋友们，大选就要到了，我真的希望每一位新加坡朋友，不论你支持谁，最基本我们要都支持民主自由。我希望在这里感谢大家，一定要去花一点点时间，投出你最神圣的一票。OK。It doesn't matter who you support. Today, I am here. I organized some of my 黄循财我的非常喜欢的一位领导人非常有和蔼、这个谦逊的，会弹音乐的一位总理我把他一些讲话 I have organized some of his speech. 今天我想把它全部总结在这里，发给大家看一下。如果你们不知道该投给谁的话，可以看一看他的一些讲话，而且我个人觉得，一个能够把新加坡这么多年，能够带领新加坡从零到有，从有到现在这么好的成就，一个政党能够这么多年良心的对待新加坡人民，我觉得这个政党也是值得新加坡人民信赖的。当然，请保留你自己的意见，把你手中那神圣的一票投给你最喜欢的政党。那么接下来我也不多说，我只是给大家看一看我今天整理的黄总理的一些讲话以及发言，希望你们在5月3日做出自己最正确的决定。祝愿新加坡的未来会越来越好，我也相信新加坡的未来一定会越来越好。
There will be many external forces that pull our population in different directions. You look at global developments, war in Europe, war in Gaza, in the Middle East. Something can happen in our part of the world in Asia. People will have different views about these developments. Under normal circumstances, we can discuss them and we can forge a national consensus. But in the heat of an election campaign, it is easy for issues to get stirred up. And if we are not careful, this can be exploited, and we will end up pitting Singaporeans one against another. We will end up dividing and weakening us. So I say to all political parties in this election, let's make sure that in everything we do, we always uphold multiracial politics. Do not inflame sensitive issues. Make sure that politics stops at the water's edge, meaning when it comes to our national interests, our sovereignty, our security, our place in the world, don't use domestic politics to divide Singaporeans. There must be unity, because whatever our differences, at the end of the day, we are all Singaporeans first and foremost. And it's only by standing together that we can survive in this contested and fractured world.
My fellow Singaporeans, in a few days, you will be making a crucial decision. You will cast your vote, not just for a party or a candidate, but for the kind of future you want for yourself, your children, and for Singapore. This election comes at a time of profound global change. A storm is coming upon us. The latest US tariff moves, as well as the uncertainty created, are already weighing on the global economy. For now, the US has suspended its reciprocal tariffs, but it has kept in place a 10% tariff across the board, including on Singapore exports, and sky-high tariffs remain between America and China. More tariffs may follow, including on industries like pharmaceutical and semiconductors, industries that are important to our economy. Global demand is weakening. Market confidence has fallen. Our exports will be hit. Companies large and small have told us how concerned they are. Workers are anxious about their incomes and jobs. We expect economic growth to slow this year. A recession cannot be ruled out. If that happens, there will be retrenchments and job losses. Our bigger fear is this: This is not just a short-term downturn. The world is shifting beneath our feet. Tensions are rising between the major powers. The rules of international trade and cooperation are breaking down. In short, the external conditions that have underpinned our survival, security, and success for decades are now coming apart. Just like 60 years ago, when we separated from Malaysia, and again in 1968, when the British forces withdrew from Singapore, leaving us to fend for ourselves. Who forms your government now is an existential question. It's not just about politics. It's about whether we can find a way forward to survive in a changed world. This has been the PAP's mission from the very beginning, to protect our sovereignty, uplift the lives of Singaporeans, and secure a better future for all. For over 60 years, we have walked alongside you. Our commitment has been unwavering to serve you, support you, stand with you. You will always be at the center of all we do. In recent years, we have done more to help you cope with rising cost pressures. These concerns have been exacerbated by the surge in global inflation following the conflicts in Ukraine and the Middle East. That's why this year's budget included a comprehensive support package. The help will be systematically rolled out in the coming months, including CDC vouchers, SG60 vouchers, cash payouts, and utilities rebates. A typical family of 4 with 2 young children will receive around $5,000 in assistance this financial year, with lower income groups receiving more help. In response to the current economic and trade uncertainties, I have asked DPM Gan Kim Yong to chair an economic resilience task force. We are monitoring the situation closely. If conditions worsen, we will do more for businesses, workers, and families. This is our assurance to you. We will continue supporting you for as long as help is needed. We will always have your back. Even as we help Singaporeans cope with the immediate economic concerns, the PAP government will always look ahead to plan for and prepare Singaporeans for the future. For our children and youths, we will continue to provide them with quality education and equip them with the skills of tomorrow, while reducing excessive pressure and stress. Our education system has already evolved. Fewer examinations, no more streaming, and more diverse pathways to help everyone discover their strengths and reach their full potential. For all working adults, we will ensure good jobs and meaningful careers. As you grow in your chosen field or seek to transition to a new one, we will help you to upskill and pursue your aspirations with confidence. When setbacks come, as they inevitably will, we will be there with stronger safety nets to catch you, lift you up, and help you bounce back stronger. We will make Singapore an even better place to raise a family. We will provide strong support for children and larger families and keep public housing affordable and accessible. We have ramped up the supply of HDB flats. By the end of this year, we will have delivered more than the 100,000 BTO flats we promised. We are pursuing initiatives for a healthier Singapore. We are focusing on preventive care so that Singaporeans, especially our seniors, can stay active and healthy. We will ensure quality healthcare remains within reach of everyone. Every town will have robust community care initiatives and senior-friendly infrastructure so our elderly can age with peace dignity, and grace. We want a Singapore where opportunities abound and no one is left behind. A Singapore where every worker is respected, every effort recognized, and every citizen empowered to pursue their dreams and become the best versions of themselves. These reflect the aspirations that you have shared with us, including through many Forward Singapore engagements. We are working hard to translate these shared hopes into reality. You can count on the PAP to keep our word. We don't just make promises. We plan, we act, and we deliver. To keep doing that, we must renew our team, bring in capable individuals with integrity and the heart to serve. From amongst them, we will nurture a new generation of leaders. Our team will combine experience with new perspectives and ideas. It is a fresh team to take Singapore forward. I know there are Singaporeans who want the PAP to continue governing, but also hope to have alternative voices in Parliament. I understand these sentiments. In successive elections, the number of opposition MPs has grown steadily. In the last election, the number almost doubled. The opposition is here to stay. I too believe there is a role for a constructive and responsible opposition in our system of democracy. But I would like to make a personal appeal to you, not just as the Secretary General of the PAP, but also as your Prime Minister. After the dust from the campaign settles, the contest will not be the PAP versus the opposition. It will be Singapore versus the world, a turbulent world with a multitude of external challenges and threats. The outcome of the election will determine how effective your government will be in serving you, and how ready we are to forge a new path forward together in these uncertain times. I've had the privilege of serving as your Prime Minister for the past year. It's a duty I carry with deep commitment to do my best for you, your families, and our nation. If the PAP again wins your mandate, my foremost responsibility will be to work with my team to unite Singaporeans, protect our livelihoods, and secure our future. I will not gamble with your lives, your jobs, or your well-being. Every member of my team knows the weight of this responsibility. This is our promise and our commitment to you. This is our collective new resolve. So I ask you to equip yourself with the best team for this changed world. Vote for the team you believe will serve you, your family, your constituency, and our nation well. Vote for the candidates who will put Singapore and Singaporeans ahead of everything else. Above all, choose leaders who are upright, honest, and of good character. Because in the end, more than policies, more than promises, it is character that counts. On the PAP's part, we will continue to focus on issues that matter most to you, like housing, healthcare, education, and jobs, and your future. We will continue to work hand in hand with you, listening and consulting widely as we develop policies. We may not be able to take in all suggestions, and when we can't, we will explain why. Every policy today is informed by the views and concerns of a wide range of Singaporeans, And we will go further to involve more of you in shaping our way forward. My fellow Singaporeans, the PAP has stood with you through every chapter of our nation's story. Together with the Pioneer, Merdeka, and Majula generations, we built a stable, united Singapore and created better lives for all. As we enter another period of turbulence and uncertainty, you can once again count on the PAP to steer Singapore safely through. We did so during the global financial crisis of 2008. We did it again during the COVID-19 pandemic in this last term. And with your support, we will do so again, whatever the uncertainties ahead. In this election, I ask you to give me and my team the chance to do our best for you. In this changed world, our PAP team, with new resolve, will give our all to secure a brighter future for you.
Of course, we are in election season, and you know what happens in election. Opposition parties will come out and they will say and do everything to bring the PAP down. If something goes wrong, it's the PAP's fault. If someone is unhappy, it's the PAP's fault. If it's raining, it's the PAP's fault. Sometimes an issue is debated in Parliament and we clarify, we explain, we present the facts, and you think that this settles the matter, case is over because we've debated, we've presented all the arguments and you can see the facts for yourself. But instead, you see the same false claims repeated, facts distorted, new doubts are raised. Why? All to cast the PAP government and the PAP in a negative light. Take the example of jobs and foreigners. It's an emotive matter. The PSP says that foreigners are taking away your jobs. We've debated this over and over again in Parliament. Keeps on debating until he decided to use a Cantonese phrase. We've shown that our approach strengthens Singapore's competitiveness. It attracts investments from everywhere around the world, and in the end, it creates more good jobs for Singaporeans. More good jobs. In fact, if you do it the other way, companies may get worried, they leave. It is Singaporeans who suffer. But even after all the explanation, the PSP keeps pushing the same line because they know it's an emotive issue and they think they can get political mileage out of this. And perhaps they have seen this strategy work elsewhere. Indeed, if you look at Western countries, many countries have become more nativist, more insular. And so here in Singapore, they use a similar tactic. But can we in Singapore really afford to go down this path? Big countries like America, they can decide to close their doors and they will survive. Big US of A, they will go on. But if little Singapore were to do the same, there will be a huge price to pay. Especially at this time of great uncertainty and turbulence. In my last rally, I spoke of my concerns because we engaged the multinational companies. They are rethinking their presence here. Because if the tariffs were to continue and it's so expensive, maybe it's better to go back to America. What message do we want to send to them? If you have the PSP coming into Parliament, I think they will conclude the political risk in Singapore has gone up. Policies may start to change and they may decide to move out of Singapore earlier. And if they do, who suffers in the end? It is Singaporeans. Let's have a care and let's think very carefully about the consequences of this election. When the opposition cannot win on the argument, then they turn to personal attacks. Why? Just so that they can improve their chances of getting into Parliament. Now, if the PAP and our candidates have not done well and the other side has better candidates, better proposals, then by all means, Singaporeans can judge for yourselves. You decide. That's how our system of democracy works. But there is no need to go down into divisive politics. Or you see what we have just encountered recently. There have been efforts by foreign actors, including a political party in Malaysia, trying to influence the outcome of our elections. We see the mixing of religion and politics, calling on people to support this or that candidate because of race or religion. And that's very dangerous. Let's be very clear. No foreigner can be involved in our politics. Singapore politics is for Singaporeans to decide. And let us not bring race or religion into politics as well. Because once you go into identity politics, it will rip apart the social cohesion that we have all worked so hard. All races, Chinese, Malay, Indians, every race in Singapore, all of us have worked so hard to build this precious harmony. Let us not destroy it. Any political party that attempts such tactics is being reckless. They may score some points, but at what cost? Our society will end up becoming more deeply divided. And in the end, it is Singaporeans, all of us, who will pay the price. I call on everyone in Singapore, let us reject such politics. Say no. Say no to those who offer populist ideas instead of offering real solutions. Say no to the politics of anger and division. Choose the best party to serve your constituency and our country. But above all, choose unity. Choose Singapore. Now, the PAP is not perfect. No political party is. No individual is. We make mistakes. When we do, we own up. We are upfront with Singaporeans. We learn, we improve, we do better. We are not afraid to reverse previous decisions that were wrong. And by this approach, over time, we've built good systems in Singapore. Education, housing, retirement, healthcare. By international standards, we rank highly. But we know, even though the rankings are good, it doesn't mean everything works well all the time. As a country, we have done well beyond our imagination these last 60 years. We have raised standards of living for everyone. But again, it doesn't mean that everything is okay. People do feel the anxieties. You feel the stress about life. You feel that this is a rat race. You feel that you would like to have it slow down a little bit. But these concerns are real. I understand them. People tell me, we have a good system here. Can we add more human touch? Can we add more heart and soul to our Singapore system? And to everyone who feels this way, I say, I understand. I hear you. And I will make it better. I will engage, listen, and build a more inclusive Singapore where every voice is heard. The opposition, of course, says the PAP can't do it because they have groupthink, all the same. PAP cannot innovate. Just look at our track record for the last 60 years. Look at what we have done together with all of you to transform Singapore. So many different areas, in jobs, in healthcare, in our housing estates. Could all of this happen with groupthink? Look at our social policies. We have workfare, we have progressive wages, we have job seeker support. These were all innovations by the PAP government. Which country has negotiated so many bilateral free trade agreements in the world? The highest, it is Singapore. Which country has now thought of negotiating digital FTAs, going beyond traditional FTAs, innovating in a new way? It is Singapore. Is it possible to do all that with groupthink? But the reality is this. More opposition seats in Parliament will weaken the PAP team. I've brought in many more new candidates this round, precisely to renew, refresh, and rejuvenate the team. And it's not just those who came from the public service. They have the potential, they are young, they can take time to develop and grow. And together with the rest of the team, we can have a core of leadership that will contribute not just for the next 5 years, but they will take Singapore forward for the next 10, 15, or even 20 years, as well as new candidates who have the potential to be the next generation of leaders for you I believe that Singaporeans are discerning and sophisticated voters. At a time when our country is undergoing a leadership transition, when we are facing such great uncertainties in the global environment, a weakened PAP team now will make it harder for us to serve you effectively in the next 5 years as we confront so much global challenges. A weakened PAP team will set back our leadership transition plans and will make it harder for us to put together a capable team to serve you beyond the next 5 years. Of course, whenever the PAP advances anything positive, the opposition is very quick to take credit. When it's a difficult policy, they don't want to have anything to do with it. But when it's something positive, they are very quick to latch on and say, oh, this was also my idea. You know why they do this? To build themselves up for their own narrow political objective. But the truth is this: the PAP will keep on refreshing and updating and innovating with or without the opposition. We keep on working hard. We keep on striving because of you, the people of Singapore. This is the PAP's strength. This is Singapore's real strength. Strength comes from you, the people of Singapore. Real strength comes from your inputs, your voice, and your trust in the PAP. We take this trust seriously. You resolve to strengthen this bond of trust with all of you. We will serve you with all our hearts. We will engage, listen, and support you. We will always do our best for you. Singaporeans are concerned about cost of living issues. It's a global issue because of wars and supply chain disruptions globally, and these have pushed up prices everywhere, including in Singapore. We've been focused on tackling this. That's why I announced a major package in this year's budget. The measures will be rolled out soon, almost every month. We will continue the help for as long as it is needed. And we can do so because we have managed our economy and our finances well. So we have the resources now to shield Singaporeans, to protect you from cost pressures. And if economic conditions worsen, which they might, we will do more. Concerns was turbocharged by the GST. Again, we have had to explain in Parliament, it's a global issue. All countries faced it. But still, even after the clarification, if you see all of their programs and manifestos, they suggest going back to 7% GST. Actually, we already have a tiered GST system. The GST rate is 9%. But we give out permanent GST vouchers to lower and middle income households. Not just one-off, permanent. Cash. Lower middle income households get it. And because we rebate, we give you back cash, rate for middle income households is below 7%. Then you may ask, who pays the full rate? If most of us lower middle income pays 7 or below, who actually pays the 9% rate? The people who pay 9% are foreigners, tourists, and high-income households. If you bring it down to 7% across the board, then these groups pay 7% only. And we will have less resources to help Singaporeans, for healthcare, to take care of our seniors. In fact, we have a good system, a good GST system. We have designed it to be like that, so that we take care of the poor, the middle are also protected, but the ones who are better off will pay more taxes. If you look at the opposition's manifestos, they want the higher income groups to pay even more taxes, more than us. They propose a wealth tax. What is a wealth tax? That means the richer ones with wealth pay more taxes. In fact, in Singapore, most of the wealth is in property. So Singaporeans already pay property taxes, and those in bigger homes already pay more property tax. But if you want to have a wealth tax on top of a property tax, it simply means those living in private estates, landed property, you better be prepared for more taxes to come if you have more opposition in Parliament. Our approach to tackling cost of living is also not just limited to rebates and vouchers, which is another falsehood. First of all, as I said, the vouchers, the rebates, the packages are not once off. We will continue with the help for as long as it is needed. Second, that is not our only approach. We are also creating good jobs with rising incomes for Singaporeans to ensure that your incomes rise faster than inflation. We are continuing to strengthen permanent supports, and we are systematically tackling other areas of cost concerns. These are all structural moves we are making systematically. Housing, healthcare, retirement, step by step. We will ensure every Singaporean has more assurance throughout your life. We know there are storm clouds ahead of us. I've said it before and I don't sugarcoat it. The world has changed. The assumptions that work for us, open markets, global cooperation, clear rules, these are all coming under pressure. This is not the first time Singapore has gone through crisis. It will not be the last as well. For the last 60 years, the PAP has walked alongside you. We have gone through crisis after crisis. Our time is not just focused on elections and campaigns. I've been engaging foreign leaders, talking to them, looking at how we can strengthen partnerships, come up with different ideas to keep trade and investment going. Gan Kim Yong and Tan See Leng have been busy with the Economic Resilience Task Force, thinking of what we can do for our businesses and workers, working together with our NTUC colleagues. Take Gan Kim Yong, for example. Just recently, in the middle of the campaign, he had to go off to attend an important Zoom call with the US Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick. The US tells him we can't change or they can't change the baseline tariff at 10% because that applies almost to all countries around the world. But Kim Yong and him had a good discussion on how we can facilitate key exports from Singapore to America. And the Commerce Secretary agreed that the US would consider this and told Gan Kim Yong, we trust you. Trust Gan Kim Yong because of what he represents, the full faith and credit of the Singapore government, this system that we have built together for the last 60 years. And that's why Gan Kim Yong is Deputy Prime Minister and my right-hand man. He is someone who inspires trust because of his ability and his competence to get things done. And we are seeing that again now when we have to deal with global trade wars. So friends, Singaporeans, colleagues and everyone, please don't fool around in politics. The challenges ahead are serious. They demand serious leadership, serious solutions, serious people. They demand a strong PAP. It has been devoted to serving you and our country. Fellow Singaporeans, in this election, I ask you to give me and my team a chance to write the next chapter of our Singapore story with you. Take Gan Kim Yong, for example. Just recently, in the middle of the campaign, he had to go off to attend an important Zoom call with the US Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick. The US tells him we can't change or they can't change the baseline tariff at 10% because that applies almost to all countries around the world. But Kim Yong and him had a good discussion on how we can facilitate key exports from Singapore to America. And the Commerce Secretary agreed that the US would consider this and told Gan Kim Yong, we trust you. Trust. Singapore trusts Gan Kim Yong because of what he represents, the full faith and credit of the Singapore government, this system that we have built together for the last 60 years. A year ago, I took on the responsibility of serving you as Prime Minister. It is a duty I take to heart, and I will do my very best to serve you and your families and our country. I take this commitment seriously, even more so now when our world has changed and our future is more uncertain than before. I believe the Singapore story is a miracle. You know, this year we have SG60. 60 years ago, no one gave us a chance. In fact, many said Singapore wouldn't make it. But we proved them wrong. Not everything was perfect. The PAP didn't get everything right. but we did get most things right, and we worked with you hand in hand every step of the way to build this nation together. Now, like then, 60 years ago, there will be skeptics and cynics who say we can't make it. I say let's prove them wrong again. With your support and working together, we will keep our Singapore miracle going for as long as possible. Over the last 60 years, we have gone through so many crises together. The Asian financial crisis, SARS, the global financial crisis, and in the last term, my team and I worked with you to tackle COVID. What happened then seems like a bad dream now. In fact, there were some periods in those dark days when I really worried that we will not get through it safely. But each time, my interactions with fellow Singaporeans on the front line reinforced my faith. Faith that we are strongest when we stand together. Faith that we will always prevail no matter the odds. So, my fellow Singaporeans, this being my first election as Prime Minister and as Secretary General of the PAP, I ask you, please give me and my team a chance to do our best for you. Together, let us fly our Singapore flag high. Together, let us secure a brighter future for you, your loved ones, and for Singapore. My fellow Singaporeans and members of the media, I'm calling this press conference in the middle of the campaign as Prime Minister because it concerns a matter of national interest. You would have seen MHA's press statement last night. As Prime Minister, I cannot emphasize this enough. Singapore's greatest strength is our unity across race and religion. It is the bedrock of our multiracial and multi-religious society. And this is not accidental. It is the result of painstaking hard work and patient effort by generations of Singaporeans. In the past few days, we have detected online activity by foreign actors urging Singaporeans to vote along religious lines. They say, vote for so-and-so because he or she will better represent a particular race or religion. These foreigners targeted Singaporeans, and their social media posts were also widely shared within the Singaporean community. That crosses the line. Singaporeans may have different views about issues, but we cannot allow external actors to exploit whatever differences we may have to weaken us or to advance their own interests. Singapore's politics must be for Singaporeans alone to decide. And so we have blocked access to these posts. And we will continue to act firmly against any such actions. Foreign influence is one side of the coin. There are also other posts circulating online attempting to bring race and religion into politics. One example is a recent social media post by a Singaporean activist proposing that Muslims should vote for candidates that are willing to advance his religious agenda. These messages may be by Singaporeans, but we should also reject them. And were it a Christian, a Hindu or Buddhist group making the same demand, our response would be the same. Mixing politics with religion is unacceptable in Singapore. We have always taken a firm stance against this. First, it fractures the common space we share as Singaporeans. Second, once elections become contests of faith, all communities in our society will end up worse off. Third, external powers will seek to exploit these fault lines to advance their own agendas. And as we have already seen, these challenges and threats are very real. Now, this does not mean that we cannot engage and address the needs of our different communities or even talk about race and religion. I myself make a point to engage these different communities. I know it's harder for our minority groups, as it is in any multiracial society, and I'm grateful for their efforts in upholding our social compact in Singapore. The engagements I do help the government to better understand the concerns and needs of our diverse communities so that we can address concerns and issues in a way that expands our common ground and strengthens our society. But such engagements are very different from identity politics, which we should firmly reject. What is identity politics? Identity politics means candidates and MPs appealing for support on the basis of race or religion and championing the interest of that particular group over other groups and over everything else. That's dangerous because when one group jostles aggressively to assert its identity, others will organize and start to jostle back. And you can see how this plays out in countries everywhere. You end up fueling our worst tendencies, hostilities, and vengefulness across society. No one wins when this happens. The minority groups will fail to get what they want because the majority group will push back strongly and the minorities will find their space constricted. At the same time, the majority group will also live in the most unhappy society, where every issue comes down to race and religion. So no one is happy, no one wins. And in the end, we will be more divided than before. And Singaporeans, all of us, will pay the price. So I call on all political parties to make their positions clear on this matter. This is not a partisan or party matter. This is a matter of national importance. In particular, I invite the leaders of all political parties to make their stand clear, not just on foreign interference, but on two fundamental principles. First, that identity politics has no place in Singapore. Second, that we should never mix religion and politics. At the end of the day, whatever our differences, we are all Singaporeans first and foremost. I thank Singaporeans of all races and religions for having supported this multiracial and multi-religious approach all this while, which has enabled us to build a successful and harmonious Singapore. I am confident that even now, the majority of Singaporeans across all racial groups support this approach. I ask Singaporeans to continue doing so. Then we can protect this oasis of peace and sustain our exceptional harmony for many more years to come.